Hi, my name is Stephanie Caballero, and welcome to IVF Parent. Today, I am welcoming Karen Cisnayu. I'm sorry, Karen. I think I did mispronounce your name, but I got close, I'm sure. Anyways, Karen is an amazing person in this field. She is been in this industry since almost the start. She is one of the founders, along with Bill Handel, of the Center for Surrogate Parenting. She was the CEO there. I remember when I was looking for a surrogate, it was the only agency online. So she really was a trailblazer in this field. And she has been very committed to ethical surrogacy, psychological screening for everybody. She really is one of my favorite people in this industry. She was actually born in England. And she does have a law degree. I don't know if she was licensed, but we think we do talk about that. And now she has pivoted. She has the infertility portal. So what that does is it's a platform that works with agencies, so egg donation and surrogacy agencies, to help them become more efficient and effective. She is also very concerned about advocacy, and she speaks out on surrogacy laws and how to make surrogacy ethical and safe for everyone. So I hope you enjoy this podcast with Karen as much as I did. She is just an incredible person, and I could talk to her forever. Thank you so much for listening, as always. I'm super excited to have you on
Okay.
because I tell this story all the time, and I know we're going to talk about what you're doing now and what you did before and how you started. But way back when I was told I needed a surrogate, and my doctor was a good friend of yours, who's retired, Dr. Michael Feynman. So, the internet was just a little tiny baby
Which
then.
he helped me have my kids.
Oh, I
He
did
was
not
our
know
doctor. Yeah, he was our doctor for all three kids.
that. So, I'm not surprised. So, I'm like looking at the internet, not gonna lie, I'm at work, right? Trying to find an agency, and I happened to stumble on your agency that you used to own, Center for Surrogate Parenting. And I tell people this. So this is like 25 years ago. That was it. There was one agency. Like there were no others. And they're like, they were the first. I'm like, yes, they were it.
Yeah. There was a few agencies. I mean, yes, we were the most prominent ones, and in the early days, we were the only ones that had a website. But there were a few other agencies. So, in fact, our first website was done by one of our clients.
No way. I have to say, it was very easy to use. And then I looked at the price because that's when you used to list the price. And it was so out of reach for me because I was
Mhm,
a marketing manager. My husband worked for healthcare. We were camping. We had 10-year-old cars. We were not going
mhm.
on anniversary cruises or giving each other nice gifts or going to nice dinners at all because all of our disposable income, all of our income, besides, to like our rent and mortgage and stuff, was going to IVF.
Yep.
So the price then, I was like, well, that's out of my reach. I can't do it. And now it's laughable.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
truly. I tell
Yeah.
people and they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. All
Well,
right.
but IVF is still out of reach, and surrogacy is still out of reach for quite a few people. I mean, I'm amazed at how expensive surrogacy is in America. When I see what some of these surrogates are earning, I don't begrudge them any of their earnings because they're doing an amazing job. But my goodness, how do couples afford it?
I don't understand it. I was just talking to some gals, former surrogates, and they used to work for agencies, and they're doing something a little bit different. They're helping intended parents with a profile because a lot of intended parents are doing it on their own independently
Hmm.
because of the
Hmm.
fact that they just have to cut some costs somewhere. And as we know, there's over 400 agencies. So how do you find a good agency today, right? And so they're helping intended parents, and then they go out and find the surrogate, and then they're stepping in. They're not doing the matching, but then they're stepping in and doing the rest. So they're charging half of what an agency
Hmm.
charges. Like, well, that's brilliant.
Well, it
right?
is brilliant. The difference is they probably don't have the same kind of insurance policies, et cetera, in place that agencies have.
They don't, but they do have insurance,
Yes, so not
right?
everyone does that. I'm not saying these particular girls, but I know many people that are doing this and they don't have insurance in place.
Most people don't have insurance in place.
Right, and it blows my mind that you can't have insurance.
Even attorneys don't have insurance in place. I'm
I
like,
I can't even imagine
that
that.
gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. All right. So let's start
Okay,
at the beginning of where you want to start,
perfect.
Karen.
You
Yeah.
just go ahead and ask your questions, and we'll just have like we're having now. We're so easy together. We'll just
I
jump in.
know. I love this. I really do like this, even though it's obviously a lot more work because I'm doing this and then I have this other thing that I'm doing, as well as my day job of, legal
Mhm.
work. And I'm like, am I insane to be doing all this? But oh my gosh, I love talking to everybody and meeting people and seeing what you're doing.
I'm
Because
sure
like,
it's fun. Yeah.
yes, because like I know you and everything, but now I get to really know you and everybody else will as well. So tell me how you got started in this industry.
So it's actually, I'll be very as quick as I can and I'll summarize it. But
It's okay.
here I am, a teenager, graduating from high school, living overseas, graduating high school, knew that I was going to go to law school, didn't know what kind of law to do. And that weekend, 60 Minutes is on, and on comes Bill Handel. And he talks about surrogacy for the very first time. This is back in 1981, 82.
Yeah.
And my parents are like, oh my goodness, those crazy Americans, look what they're doing. And I sit there and I say, this man is amazing. I just find this whole field of surrogacy, didn't really understand it, but what I could understand, when I'm here, I am graduating high school. And I said, what he's doing is he's redefining families, and that is amazing. And so I go to law school and I decide I'm going to do something in the field of surrogacy. So law school in England, start doing, there's no such thing as surrogacy law in those. So I start doing family law and contract law, anything I think that might be able to help me. In my second year at law school, they go ahead and outlaw any surrogacy contracts in the UK. And to this day, it's the same. You
It
can't
is.
contract, for a surrogate to relinquish a child, right? So that's it. My career is blown. I switch. I go to
Ridiculous.
intellectual property rights, do computer science. Um, Many years later, I decide I'm going to come to America. I immigrate to America. The week that I arrive in California, I meet Bill Handel.
How?
10 years later, he has an ad in the paper, and I go and meet him. It's 10 years after I saw him on TV, and there is Bill Handel. And so they hire me, Bill and his partner hire me to run their program for them. And then after I ran their program for a year or so, his partner leaves, I buy into the program, and so there we are.
There you are. Handle on the law. I remember that. Oh my
So, I
God.
mean, what's the odds of me coming to California? Bill is here. It's the same man I saw on TV on 60 Minutes.
Right. And all those years later, you're
10
like,
years later have gone by.
oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
And I love it. I love the field, love every aspect of the field. But I've sold the agency and I've moved on, and now I do software for agents, for surrogate agencies. But I just think it's one of the most beautiful fields anyone ever can ever be involved in.
I agree. Helping people have a baby. I helped this couple. They're Australian. Took them 20 years to have one
Hmm.
baby.
Hmm.
Miscarriages, miscarriages. They had like twins with a surrogate miscarry.
Hmm.
It was incredible. And then
But in the
they
end, they get babies.
they got a baby, and in my office is a picture of them with their daughter, who she's now like 20 or 18, at her christening, and the looks on their faces. And they tried to have a sibling for her. And after like 5 years, she just told me, Stephanie, I have to call it a day. Clearly, I'm not going to have a sibling. And I can't keep doing this. I've been doing this for 25 years. Like, yes, but no, to help
I
people.
actually have. I've had children born through surrogacy. Again, it happened to be an Australian couple. There's another couple in the UK. And when those kids, as young teenagers at university, come to America on a tour of America, they've stayed at my house. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't get better than that.
No, you don't get better
You don't
when
get better than
clients
that. There is
with
no other job that does that for you.
no, where you have clients with their little babies stay at your house.
Just and their teenage kids are staying at my house
I
because
love
they know
that.
about me. They come and stay because
I
this is
love
California
that.
and you've got Disneyland right down the world and Universal Studios and the beach.
Right? Who doesn't want to come to California, right?
Right.
Okay, so now tell me what you're doing now.
So I just, because I was out of the field, I sold my agency, never want to run a surrogacy agency again. It's really, really complicated and
Oh,
difficult. It's a lot of work. People don't understand how much work it is for someone to run a surrogacy agency.
gonna
So I
say
sold
yes.
the agency, was technically supposed to retire, but I just felt, Stephanie, like you and me, we've got so much knowledge in
Yeah.
our heads. And I really felt guilty of not using that knowledge somehow. So now I'm writing software for surrogacy agencies. So they have their own CRM, so their own management system that helps them run their program more efficiently and allows them to have the most amazing reporting.
I love that. So they
So
can,
total turnaround.
right? But it's so needed because usually agencies either they don't have it in Excel, or they spend all this time doing what is the software called?
It's called STEPS, STEPS.
Okay.
So the company is called Infertility Portal, and the
Yes,
software is called STEPS.
got it.
And most agencies work with spreadsheets and Google Docs.
Yep.
But there's no centralized place for all this information to
No.
be. There's no automatic follow-up with surrogates. There's no tracking of couples correctly because you're only as good as the information you put in. Your staff updates your spreadsheets. And when
Right.
one staff member leaves, you've got to go to her computer, retrieve all the data. So this way, it's on their phones, it's on their iPads. When they travel, they've got access to all of their clients if that's what they want. It's just, I love the fact that I'm helping surrogacy agencies just become more organized. And in fact, every one of my
Mm.
clients has grown by more than 30% since putting that software in.
Oh, that's huge.
Because
That's-
things fall through. I mean, how often can you follow up with surrogates that apply to you so that you follow up with them in 3 days, then in a week's time, and then your staff's moving on to the next people from
Yes,
their ad. The
because
software can follow up on all those
yes,
people with you that continuously sending them emails and text messages. And of course, when the person's ready, they're responding. It's
because
amazing.
you're right. The one of the biggest complaints I hear from surrogates, because I'm in all the Facebook groups, I'm just a lurker for the
Mhm.
most part,
Because
is
you live the
that
field, you love it.
sorry?
That's it. You live in the field and you love it.
I love it, but I lurk on the Facebook groups. But the biggest complaint surrogates say, one of the biggest complaints is my agency doesn't communicate with me. I never hear from my agency. Yeah, I didn't feel treated. I didn't feel respected. They did not contact me on a regular basis.
And that
Yeah.
doesn't happen with a CRM. You can put alerts in that if in 7 days you haven't touched one of these cases, you get alerted and your manager gets alerted
Mm.
saying, hey, it's been 7 days or whatever time period the agency wants, but you need to be reaching out to these people.
You do. And I think people listening, if they're an intended parent, they don't understand the volume they get of the applications from surrogates and what goes into it. They fill
Yeah.
out this it's like a novel. They have to fill out this whole, more than half of them, I would say maybe 10% don't even complete the application process because it's so
Oh,
detailed.
90% don't complete the
Yeah,
application
I'm
process.
sorry, I
Yeah,
meant
you meant the other way
90%.
around. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
90% don't complete it. And then they have an interview. Okay, the agency looks at it. They have to have, okay, this one passes, this one doesn't. And I mean, pass to the next step, right? And then they have like a half hour, 45-minute interview with her. Then they've got to work on getting all her medical records. But they've got like all these surrogate applications coming in all the time. It is just to get a surrogate and her medical records to get to that point. Yeah, I don't want to run an
It's
agency.
hours. It's like 10, 15 hours just to get her file complete.
Yes. And
and
that's not even,
and
we're not even at
multiply
medical
that. Yeah.
clearance.
Mhm.
Yeah. We're
Mhm.
not even
And
at
and then what
medical.
couples need to realize as well is that these wonderful surrogates have lives of their own. Just because they want to be a surrogate doesn't mean they don't have a job. They have a husband, they have parents-in-law, they have a mother-in-law who expects them to cook a meal every night. I'm just, messing with this, but they've got soccer
They
practice,
do.
they've
Oh
got
my
doctor's
gosh.
appointments, they've got dancing practice. I mean, it's like
Oh,
they've got to fit this into their lives. These
yes.
surrogates are amazing.
Amazing. And I tell and sometimes intended parents, I can tell I have one that thinks I'm not on her side. but I need her to understand that when her surrogate works graveyard and has to drive to get her blood drawn,
Mhm.
that whatever the agency says she should get, just let her get it.
Mhm.
In the grand scheme of things, it is not, it's not that much money, and that's part of the program. She may not think she's traveling, but she's worked graveyard. She is getting in her car. Her child is at home with her mother who is or her grandmother who's watching the child, right? And then she has to get him off to school as she's gone from her graveyard shift
Yep.
to her blood draw to yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah,
And that brings me to the point you asked me, there's 400 agencies out there, Karen. How does a couple choose an agency? And you just triggered this inside. So I always say to couple, there's four things that you need to bear in mind when you're looking for an agency. And you've got to be ruthlessly honest with yourself. The first one is what kind of risk you're willing to take on, and I'll expand on that. The second is what is your real budget? The third one is what is your requirements of a surrogate mom? And the fourth one is who are you? And so bringing it to this, what you just said to me, you said, this woman is saying, she's upset because her surrogate's not getting to the right appointments and she's on graveyard. If you are honest with yourself and you're honest with the agency, you need to say to them, I'm a control freak. I'm going to want her to go to look, there's a surrogate for everyone. Just because you're a
sure,
controlling person, just because you're a detail orientated, doesn't make you a bad mom or a bad intended mom. But if you tell the agency who you are, they're going to pick the right surrogate for you. But so many intended parents think that they should lie or not be truthful with an agency.
yeah,
Oh, we're very easygoing. We won't care about things. And then they complain. If you just tell the agency, they will find the surrogate for you
yes,
that will know exactly who you are, that making it to appointments is really important, that you're very much a control person. It's got to be A, B, C, D,
yeah,
versus another couple's going to say, look, if she misses an appointment, I'm going to understand she has a child.
yeah,
Both of them are going to be matched, by the way. Both of you
right?
are going to be matched. Just be honest.
Because if you pick the right, well, you have to pick a good agency first who works on matching. Because, right, because if you do a bad match, I always say I had these wonderful couple from Portugal, same sex couple. Oh my gosh, they would talk, they would text, they'd send pictures, they were just life of the party. They got matched with a very introverted surrogate. You can imagine at the end of the journey how much the surrogate disliked them.
Oh,
They were too much for her.
mhm,
She needed somebody who was quiet, more of a business-like relationship. I'll let the surrogate be. I've got my own life. She can check in once a week. I'm good. Yeah, no, it was, I mean, she delivered healthy babies for them. It was amazing. And they were,
sure.
but she did not want to see them at the
Yeah.
hospital.
The matching is important, but Stephanie, an agency can only match if the couple is being honest with the
Correct.
agency. So
Correct.
many times couples are trying to be, oh, we're open, we're fun, we're wonderful, we're going to be best. Just be honest. Just
Yeah,
be
you're
honest with
right.
your
They
agency.
think they
You
have to
know,
be the perfect parent. I'm
and
gonna
you
try.
don't.
Yeah.
If a couple comes to me and says, look, I'm doing surrogacy because I really have to do surrogacy. I'm going to be polite and wonderful to the surrogate, but I want to move on with my own life. That's not a bad intended parent. I have
No.
surrogates who don't want the couple crawling all over their lives and being involved
Same.
in it. So there's
Same.
always someone for every couple. You just
Always.
need to be honest so the agency can do a good job.
Yes,
You're not there to
absolutely.
impress, you're there to find the right match.
No,
And to
so
do that, the
yeah,
couple needs to be honest. So that is
absolutely.
that is one of my things is,
Okay.
when you're looking at this, the couple needs to be honest about what they're looking for. So do
Yeah.
they have requirements of a surrogate? Do they have an age limit? Do they have which state she must live in? Whatever their requirements are, just tell the agencies.
Tell the
Don't
agency.
mess with it. Then later on, I mean, I've had couples, you've seen couples where they said, oh, we're open to anything. And then we present them with a beautiful surrogate. Oh, no, no, we wanted someone that has her own insurance. Well, you never said that to me. I've wasted all my time on this match. Or,
Yes.
oh no, I only want a surrogate mom from California. Well, you live in Maryland. I have wonderful surrogates in Maryland with wonderful laws. Why didn't you tell me that your
Right?
mother lives in California and you want to come out here? If you just tell the
Tell
agent,
me.
they will do. So the
Yeah.
first thing is that you have to be really, really honest with yourself
Yeah.
so that you can be honest with the agency and do it from the very first phone call practically. Just
Yep.
tell them who you are. They're still going to work with you.
They
There's going to be
are.
the right, there's 400 agencies, you'll find the right agency.
Yep.
The other thing that couples need to look at is what is the risk factor? And this is how I separate between, do you work internationally? Do you work with America? Do you work with big agencies? Do you work with small agencies? All of that depends on how risk adverse you are. So if you're the couple that says, I want no risk whatsoever, it makes sense to work with an American agency that's well established and has been in operation for about 20 years with a
Yep.
good reputation. That's what you want. Other
Yeah.
couples will say, and you're going to pay for that because they've earned that reputation.
You
They've worked
are.
their way there and they've got brilliant staff. On the other hand, if you can say, I'm okay to some sort of risk, within a reasonable amount of risk, then maybe you can work with a mid-sized to small-size agency. So they only have 10 years of experience. It's still amazing.
Right.
They only have 10 staff members or 8 staff members. So someone could get pregnant at any time and bring that number down versus the larger agencies where there's full coverage at all time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then you've got those couples that say, I don't really care that much about risk. I just want a baby regardless. Well, now we can start open international surrogacy to them because there are risks involved with international surrogacy.
There
But you
are.
need to be honest with yourself what it is that you're looking for. Then you need to be honest with yourself about the budget.
Yeah.
So, and many couples will say money's not a problem, but it always is a problem.
Always. Because a lot of times they've already spent money on IVF. They've already, like I
And
was.
it,
I was literally almost tapped out,
and you
right?
were honest with yourself. You and Mario were honest about, you didn't
We
try and
were.
pretend to be someone that you weren't.
Nope.
Therefore, I used to have couples that would come along and then I would present them with a surrogate and say, well, could she maybe reduce her fee by 10,000? Well, you never told me that. If
Because
you
I
told
would
me
have,
that, how much goes into a match?
right? I would have picked another surrogate for you that
All
was,
that's what all my
right?
surrogates get. I can't suddenly reduce it. I promise
No.
them this. So for a couple, they need to be honest. Is money
Yeah.
no object? Go for the big agencies. If that's
Right.
what you want, go for the big numbers.
Yep.
It's fine. If you want a budget, most likely the medium size to the small size agencies can accommodate you. And if money is a very serious consideration, you're going to have to incur a lot of risk, which means you're going international potentially or
Yes.
doing it by yourself. But just be honest, there's 400 agencies out there. When you phone the agency, tell them what your budget is. Like, I don't
Yes.
think we can spend more than $200,000. We just don't have it. Okay, I don't think we can do more than 150. There will be an agency eventually that is
There
right
will.
for you.
There will. For sure.
But
Yeah.
don't go to an agency that costs $100,000 as a retainer fee and
No.
you've only got a $150,000 budget. Not going to work out. You're wasting everyone's time and you're going to be hurt in the end.
Correct.
So
Right.
be real honest. There's someone for everyone out there. And then I think the other thing that I normally say to couples is look at the time frame. So do you need a surrogate? Like, I don't care what it costs. I want a surrogate soon. I've just been through enough. Are you saying I don't mind waiting a year to 18 months? If you're saying I don't mind waiting 2 years, because almost every agency has a wait list.
They do.
I don't think I know anyone that doesn't have a wait list. In my days, we used to have more surrogates than we did couples at one point.
I know. I remember those days.
But
Those days
it's
are gone.
changed.
It's
It's changed.
changed. It's changed.
It's definitely changed. And
Mm.
so you're going to have some kind of a wait for a surrogate.
Yeah, you are.
And so be honest about what that wait can be. Don't be phoning the agency saying, you told me it was going to be, I would get a surrogate soon. And they're going to say, but look at our literature. It's 18 months. We haven't exceeded the 18 months yet.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So, be realistic about your journey. I think that's very, very important. And then the final thing that I know you will agree with this a lot, Stephanie, is do you want a mental health professional to screen your surrogate and be part of your journey? Or are you okay with her or him or her just screening your surrogate and then the staff takes over as managers? There's two different agencies. One is where the mental health professional continues throughout the journey with you, and one, the mental health professional comes in, does what he or she does, leaves, and the
Done.
staff takes over. Two different kinds of agencies, whichever one you want, they both
Yeah,
work.
they
They
do.
both work fine,
They
but
do.
you need to establish what's important for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how you start looking for, you go through these 400 and you whittle them down and whittle them down because you have been honest with yourself about what's going to work for you.
Yeah, I think that case that I have, I don't, there is a disconnect. And the surrogate is going to her appointments. The issue is, and she's getting paid exactly what she should when she goes.
Mhm.
The issue is, I just, there's a trust issue with the client, and we're trying to resolve that. But you're right. If she had laid all her cards out on the table, perhaps we wouldn't be at this place,
See,
right?
there's very rarely is there trust issues. I know everyone thinks it's a trust issue, but I came to realize after many years in the field that I used to think it was a trust issue. It isn't really a trust issue. I think the person needs to go to a counselor and dig a little bit deeper to find out what's behind that. One, it might be that she's still angry that she can't carry her husband's child.
Yes.
So she's going to be angry no matter who the surrogate is. We could have given her the
Mm.
most perfect stay-at-home surrogate who lives down the road from the doctor. There would have been another issue. There
Yeah.
would have been another issue. The other thing is that maybe she's just more of a controlling kind of a person, more of a
I go
demanding
with you.
person, and she's not voicing it more accurately.
Yeah,
And
I
if you just say what it is and you get down to the bottom of what it is,
yeah.
it's not really a trust issue. I mean, I used to say to couples, Stephanie, when couples would come and say, how am I supposed to trust her? And I would say, okay, I'm just going to take you back a little and give you a little bit of perspective to who these ladies are. So, Stephanie, I'll just pretend you're the client, Stephanie.
Pretend, yes.
Okay, Stephanie, how many friends do you have in this world? Would you
Uh,
say more than 20, more than
yes.
30?
Yes.
Yes. So let's say you've got 30 plus friends in the world.
Okay.
How many of them have stepped forward to help you have a baby?
None.
Isn't it interesting that this one lady that you're not trusting, she heard about what couples go through to have a baby. And in her heart, she said, I can
I
do it.
I can do
Exactly.
that. She
And
raised her
she
hand.
has stepped forward to help you. Yet you are willing to treat your friends who are not willing to offer you any assistance whatsoever better than this
Yeah.
wonderful lady that stepped forward and said, I am willing to help. That's who she is. So let's understand that first.
Yeah.
You go on vacations with friends, you do dinner parties for friends, you buy them beautiful gifts,
Yep.
and you're begrudging her extra housekeeping, and she's 6 months pregnant, and
Right.
you don't trust her.
Right. Because
Do you
it is
really think she wants to run away with your baby when she can sleep with her husband and have one? So much easier for her.
right. You know what? And it is usually like this situation I have, it's the little tiny travel portion that she's getting for doing the blood draws.
Mhm,
It's the extra child care that is what the intended parents they
mhm.
get hung up on. But that is such a great analogy you just gave. That who of
She
your
stepped
friends,
forward. Mhm.
yes, she raised her hand and said, I am going to help a stranger have a baby.
And yet you bought your friend a $200 or $300 handbag for her birthday, but you won't pay $56 for this girl's mileage.
Correct.
Like, let's really bring it down to what we really are talking about. And
Yeah.
and when you bring it down like that for some couples, they go, I get it.
And then they go, wow, I'm an asshole.
And and, and maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Sometimes it's just they have to be angry at something because when
They
you go through
do.
infertility, I
Oh,
had my kids through surrogacy, through IVF. You've had your kids through surrogacy. There comes a time when you just are so angry at the world.
you are. You are so angry. You see babies everywhere. You want to, not that you're going to do this, but you just want to throw a chair against the wall.
Mhm.
You hate everybody and everything.
And you
Yeah,
can't voice it because that makes you a bad person. So you
right.
internalize it.
You do.
And it's going to squeak out one way or the other sooner or later. And
Yeah.
this wonderful woman comes along who's cute. She's got children of her own. She's lovely. Everyone adores her. And she gets pregnant like this. And there's going to come a time when you're like, damn it, can there be something wrong with her, please?
Right.
So
I'm
you're
going
going
to
to go
make
find it.
something. You're absolutely right. I was not jealous of my surrogate because it took me so long. Like if a baby fell out of the sky and they said, that's your baby, I would have said, okay, great, that's my baby. I mean, but my clients have asked me, okay, Stephanie, when you were jealous of your surrogate, because the woman is doing something that I could not do. And I'm like, no, but my journey was so long. So it's nearly 8 years.
And most
Um,
couples are just like you, Stephanie. I mean, you're wonderful and you're very appreciative of other people and what they do around you. That's just who Stephanie is in our field, right? You're a very caring person.
yes.
And so that's gone through in your journey. And just because most couples are the same, but if one couple does find a little jealousy inside them, it's okay.
It's
Speak to
okay.
someone about it, let it
Yes.
come out, understand it, move on. It's not a good or a bad thing. It's just a
No.
thing that happens.
Stamp your feet. I mean, like when
Yeah.
you talked about the time when I mean, it was awful.
Mhm.
It was miserable. Yes. Okay, did we get to the four things? Did we
Yes,
get
so it's the four things are going to, I'm just going to look at my little list here before.
look at
So
your
it's your
list?
risk factor. Be honest with yourself about what kind of risk you're willing to
Yeah.
take on and know that there's a price with it. Be very honest with agencies about your budget. Be very honest with your requirements of a surrogate mom, whether it's age, location, etc.
Mm,
And then who you are as a client for them. Who are you going to
mm,
be as a client for them?
mm,
And the other thing I want to say to couples is, I mean, I know you're talking about, the doctor that helped you have a baby, and he was a
yeah.
remarkable doctor, and he helped me have my children as well. But some couples are adamant they will only work with one clinic. And I've got to say, as having run an agency before, some clinics, Stephanie, are hell to work with. And other
Yes.
clinics are amazing to work
Dreams.
with.
They're a dream.
And you know what? They all get pregnancies.
You know, you're
So
right. They
there are
do.
some couples that say, I only want to work with this doctor. Well, that doctor's going to reject the first 10 surrogates I send them for no good reason because they're as
Oh,
picky as hell. I'm going to take those 10 surrogates, give them to another couple. They're all
yes.
going to get pregnant and you're still
Yes.
on my wait list.
Yes.
All because your doctor is waiting for something to come along that
A
all the other
unicorn.
doctors don't care about.
A unicorn. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And and even that unicorn that comes along, when the doctor works with her, she's going to go through 2 or 3 cycles before she gets pregnant. The other
Oh,
girls have moved on and they're all pregnant. So
all of them.
I would say to couples, be a little more open about the clinic and maybe be a
Yeah.
little more open with the agencies. Like, well, I know I want to work with Dr. ABC. What is his reputation like? And if an agency says, well, they're going to take 3 months to screen the medical records, that's something that you need to be aware of.
Right?
Or they're going
Yes.
to cost a huge amount of money for this, or they're going to, some
Right.
doctors are easy in our industry and some doctors are living night. I would reject clients when they work with certain doctors because I knew
You knew.
I was going to spend a huge amount of time on the case. The doctor was going to reject many of the surrogates for no good
Everyone.
reason. I didn't want to waste that time. And I would say to them, I'm
Mm.
sorry, I'm just not the right agency for you
No.
because I just don't understand why the doctor does this.
Yeah, there are clinics that take, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating to the surrogates
Mhm.
and it's frustrating to the parents. I was on a Facebook group and I'll never forget this. This is our first time surrogate. She's like, "Oh, I just got medically screened and I'm so excited." And then how long does it take to get the legal contract? Oh no, wait, I'm sorry. She just got matched. I just got matched and I'm just so excited. And how long from matching will it take till I get, have my transfer and my contract and everything? And this surrogate goes, about 436 years is what it takes today. And I bust out laughing
Yeah.
because it's so true. It is so much longer from match
Mhm.
to contract today. I mean, even my clients, I have multiple emails and multiple Zooms with most of my clients before they even sign my engagement letter.
Mhm.
And pre-pandemic, 10 years ago, I got the referral from the agency. Hi, how are you? Great. Sign my engagement letter. We'd have a conversation about the contract. It gets sent to the surrogate's attorney in a couple weeks, 3 weeks, signed, legal clearance, done, have her transfer pregnant.
So I
Yeah.
would say to clients, here's because you would have a standard retainer as an agency owner, right? So
Yeah.
I would give out and couples would come back with all these changes. And I would say to them, not a problem. Tell me what your changes are. Have your attorney phone me. And I had one client that flew 3 attorneys from New York to California to come and negotiate my retainer agreement. Now, in those days, my retainer agreement was $18,000. Their attorneys got paid over $300 from the minute they left
Yeah.
their front door per hour. And they were in my office for 3 days. 3 attorneys, 3 days, right? So they came down and I said to the attorneys, look, this is what's going to happen. We're going to negotiate and negotiate and negotiate. I'm going to tell you all the reasons why I can't do the things that you want because it's going to be impossible. We're going to eventually end up with the same retainer almost, with a few little grammatical errors and a few little redoing of it. Then when this is over and I match your couple, I'm going to put that retainer into the file and I'm never going to look at it again. So all the changes that you made are not going to change the way my staff and I operate throughout this process.
Mm-mm.
And that's true for most agencies.
Yes.
They are going to operate clockwork the way they do their work every
Yes.
single day, and they don't remember that you changed 15 lines in their retainer. They're going to work the same way
Yes.
all the time.
Yes.
So don't put them through all kinds of hell. And so I would say to clients, I don't care that you want your attorney to look at my retainer because all that happens is you're correcting all the mistakes, making my retainer tighter and tighter and a better document. And I didn't have to pay those wonderful fees that you paid for an attorney. I get free legal advice, but it's not changing the way my staff operates every day.
You're absolutely right. 'Cause we have more requests to review agency retainers. And most agency retainers, they're almost nearly identical.
Mm-hmm.
Truly. There's no magic to them.
No,
And so we just recommend, we just point out here are the indemnity clause and this and that and this and that. And we may make some few little tighten some things here, but we don't charge a lot to do that, but
but
you're
you
right.
don't change the way the agency works.
No, never. It will not change
No,
how that agency operates is how that agency operates, and they are not going to change.
and all you did, Stephanie, was you used your legal background to give that agency a better retainer. Because if they're really
Yes.
good, they would include your changes for free that they got with all their
Right.
next retainer. So where they get a better and better retainer. And, I would phone you and say, Stephanie, thank you for all those changes because that
Yeah.
cost my client, $3,000 and I paid zero. But I
I,
appreciate all these wonderful, amazing changes that you
right.
made because I got a better document right now. But it doesn't change the way the agency
I and
works.
I think that's what IPs and surrogates need to know when they pick an agency. And I think surrogates are getting much more savvy about this. They're asking more questions because those
Mhm.
Facebook groups say, research, talk to them, interview them, because it's a two-way street. It always has been, but I think now with the volume of agencies, I think it's become more important on both sides, right? That you interview and you meet and you talk to the agencies, but keep in mind realistically who you are as an intended parent. I think
Mhm.
that is so important.
Be honest.
Be
Just be
honest.
honest who you are. Just own it.
Own
There's
it.
always someone for you. There's a
Own it.
surrogate for you.
I have to say, I get contacted by people in other countries, having their surrogacy programs in other
Mhm,
countries. Yeah.
mhm.
It's bigger than it has ever been.
Absolutely.
Yep.
We had this program, and I wish agencies would do this. Let's say I had a client from France, right? And so when they go home, just before when they're babies, when you go through that pre-birth, when the
Yeah.
like 28, 30 weeks of pregnancy, we would have the client that was presently pregnant phone the last client that went home to that country. So
Oh.
every client phoned someone before they went home and they promised that no obligation, they just promised to accept a phone call from the next couple coming to their country,
Oh, I love
just to
that.
give them a little bit of insight into which attorney they worked with, how they got through customs, what they wrote on their
Yeah.
documentation. And I thought it was a beautiful system. And at any time, a client could say no. And no one ever in all of my almost 40 years did a single client say no.
Well, no, this is
It was
why
one-on-one conversation between
yeah, this is
clients.
why when we go to Germany or France or wherever country I go, when I go,
Mhm,
we get former clients together and new clients together because they have a family.
mhm.
In the US, it's more common, but if you're in Spain, France, wherever you're at, that system, they've got somebody they can lean on who has been through exactly what they've been through.
Right. And you don't have to meet each other because
No.
sometimes, like especially in like Italy and sometimes even in France, in the olden days, it was very
Yeah,
complicated to
it
go home.
was.
But for one couple just to speak on the phone with the next couple was
Yeah.
amazing because even
Amazing.
as an attorney you don't exactly know which forms they're filling up when they're going through customs,
No.
but the couple
Mm-mm.
knows what form it was. They
Yep.
know what they had to say when they book their airline tickets. I mean, it's just little bits of information that you can pass on to the next couple.
Yeah. So speaking of that, there's a big case coming up about birthright citizenship and passports.
Well, I
Mm,
think all that's going to happen. I mean, first of all, let's hope it doesn't go through, right? I mean, as much as I am, with regards to immigration, I just think birthright is just birthright. And we're punishing newborn babies for something that they're totally innocent on, for goodness
exactly.
sake. It's a different thing when you're an adult, but when you're a baby, you're just a
Yeah.
beautiful innocent. You don't punish them.
Beautiful. The squishy
Um,
cheeks.
yeah, but what happens if the surrogate's name goes on the original birth certificate, the child gets citizenship, and then we go to court and we change it afterwards?
Yes, there's people have mentioned that too. Yep.
I mean,
And, and then also
why are you punishing a baby?
a baby. And then also what we did during COVID, right? Nobody got a passport
Right.
and they just went home via authorization with their country.
Mhm.
You know, people want babies.
Yeah.
I know it's illegal in France. Poor France, we're picking on France, but France is better now, and I love it.
Well, and
But
Italy, of course, is just, oh my
oh,
goodness, you don't deal with Italy anymore.
I love my Italians. I miss my
I
Italian
do
clients.
Italian food and visiting Italy.
Mm,
Actually, Italy is one of my favorite countries to visit.
favorite countries. So your country is going to want you to come home because they
Mhm.
want babies because the low fertility rate all over the world.
Sure.
So they are going to get you home. And this is what I tell my clients, there is going to be a process to get you home
Hmm.
because if you don't, obviously they're on a visa, right? So they're temporarily here. And if their baby doesn't have papers, their baby's going to need to go home too. So
Hmm.
there's going to be a way. We're going to get you home.
I
But
mean,
you're right.
are there any cases where someone has come to America from France, had a surrogate baby in America, and was never able to return home to France? I'm unaware of it, and I've been in the field 40 years.
No.
I am totally unaware of it. You
Yep.
always just exactly what you said, Stephanie. There's always a pathway home.
There is going to be a pathway home, especially
Hmm.
like during COVID, no passports for 2 years.
Hmm.
Everybody got home, no matter what
Yes.
country, everybody went out. It's
Hmm.
going to be something, so let's not panic.
Yeah. Which is why I say to every citizen in America, I don't care whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent. If there's a politician out there that says, I went through infertility, you vote for that person.
Yes. Yes.
You vote for that person
Yes, because that
because they
person,
understand what a gay couple goes through. They understand what
yes,
infertility is like. They understand. Vote for them.
they
Everything
have,
else we'll fix later, but vote for them.
I know, they have empathy. I think politicians need a little bit more empathy, is all I'm going to say of that, for sure.
Yeah.
That people have told me, Mommy, my daughter, Mommy, you should go, you should be in politics. You should go for, you should run for presidency. And I'm like, I don't have any experience. And I'm
Neither do the rest of them, it seems.
right. That's what she said to me. Look, I'm like, oh, she's so right. No, I like my day job too much. I'm not going to
Yeah.
run. I'm
And
done.
politics is, I mean,
Oh,
they expose your underwear drawer. I mean, they get through everything in your life. That what did you do when you were, 14
yeah.
years old in high school? I mean, for goodness sake, does it really matter who you are today?
Right. Right. And I had a little too much fun when I was in high school and college. So, right. That's, and I have to tell you, that's one reason why I was like, when the whole women don't go into politics and, run for something and that whole thing came out, I was like, oh, maybe I'm like, oh no, they would dig deep. No.
And so the other thing I can say to couples, Stephanie, when you're looking at these 400, plus agencies out there is I originally, when I was in the field, I had this elitist feeling that, the big agencies like I had, had been in the field a long time, only work with those agencies. No one else knows what they're doing. So that was my opinion at one particular point. But now then, in the last few years, I've been working with mid-size and small agencies. Stephanie, I have been so impressed by the heart that these agencies bring to their work. I
Yes.
mean, they are well run, they are run open. There's a lot of transparency in these smaller agencies, a lot of transparency, and a lot of transparency with the mid-size agencies, very honest with their couples. And they bring a tremendous amount of heart. They know every client's name. They know every surrogate. They know everything about their cases. They work on weekends. They will take calls at nighttime. I
Mm-hmm.
have I was wrong. These small agencies and these mid-size agencies, they bring a lot of heart to our field and they are organized, and I would work with them heads
Right?
down any day.
Any day.
Absolutely any day.
Yeah, I used to say too that the length of time mattered. And to some degree,
It
it
does.
does. But if you've got heart, you can't fake that. You
Mhm.
cannot fake that. And if you're a well-run agency, and like you said, you know your clients, you know your surrogates, you care, and they know from top to bottom what they need to do to get a surrogate in, get a good surrogate, get the match, right? They're not going to rush. They're not going to, you know,
Look,
we all
once you've
know.
been in the field 5 or 6 years, you've pretty much seen everything. And most small agencies have been in
Correct.
the field at least 5 years. And most mid-size agencies at least 10 years.
10.
They've seen most of it. And when they come across something that they don't know how to handle, they come to professionals like you, right? If you're the attorney
Oh
on the
my
case,
God. Yep.
Stephanie, this has happened, give us guidance. They can use your knowledge
They
to
do.
for things that they might have gaps in.
They
So
do.
don't overlook those smaller agencies and those
Oh,
mid-size agencies. There's
love
good
them.
opportunities out there and they do
They're,
really good jobs.
yep. I love them. They go, and they're, yeah, they are wonderful.
They
And
go the
they'll,
extra mile, yeah. Sometimes
yes,
the bigger agencies are very robust. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got to do these steps. There's no wiggle room. The small agencies and the mid-size agencies, they're still flexible. They will change with the times. They will accommodate you. They will
yeah.
do the best that they can to work. I mean, it's just not as rigid sometimes.
Yep. Yep, you're right. No, I have to say, for me, as long as you're a good agency, it's you're in good hands. I mean, that sounds like a stupid thing to say, but with 400 agencies, I see so many people and I get emails from parents and they've already down this path with an agency and they're on their third surrogate, their fourth surrogate, they're 2 years down. The agency promises everything. They paid all this money. They have no surrogate. They have no transfer. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
not good. But if you
Yeah,
pick
and that could happen with a big agency, though. Sometimes there's
correct.
clients with big agencies. I mean, I've had clients that just had really bad luck where I gave them surrogate after surrogate after surrogate, and they just couldn't get to the transfer for one reason or another reason that I
Yeah.
didn't predict. So it can
Yes,
happen with a small or a large agency. Sometimes people just have this
it
really,
can.
really complicated journey to finally get there.
It
But if you hang in
can.
there, you'll get there.
You will, you will. And if the agency, because you're right, there are some people that have to go through three surrogates, but if you're with a good agency, they're going to follow the retainer and they're going to be honest and upfront with you when you get to surrogate number two and surrogate number three.
Right. So get
I,
everything in writing. I mean, you're an attorney, and that's going to be your advice to everyone
everything in
is
writing.
when you finished with your phone call with the agency and they say, this is our wait list, you write to them saying, dear agency ABC, lovely talking to you today. Please correct me, but this is what I heard. You said the wait period was going to be six
Yeah.
months for a surrogate, and this is what you mean by qualified.
Yes,
Put it in
exactly.
writing, because then when they hire you or an attorney like you and these promises aren't fulfilled, they can show you. But that's what the agency said to me, Stephanie. Now you've got a bit of, you've got teeth where you
Yeah.
can go to the agency and say, you know what? You said the wait period was 6 months and we're at 8 already.
Yeah. Yeah,
You need to do
exactly.
something here. You can
For
fight for your
sure.
clients.
Oh, but typically, but I'm getting emailed and they're not my clients. They're not.
Ah,
Yes.
that's a little unfair, though. I mean, as much as it's unfair that infertility touches anyone, there needs to be a bit of respect, because if people keep using us
Yeah.
continuously,
Yeah.
we as professionals get exhausted in the field.
Yeah. She's at the point where this person wants to go to the next level. And I just recommended, I have the owner's cell phone number. Do you want me to contact the owner? Right.
Hmm.
Let's see if we
Hmm.
can resolve this. But we'll see where it goes. But yes, I'm getting those. They're not even my clients. They find me and they're with XYZ agency and they feel like they have been mistreated and lied to. And yeah,
And that's their opinion. So many times
yeah,
it's just like, well, that's from your perspective. If I phone the agency, I'm going to get a different story. So, I mean, here's a funny story, but we had one of our clients that the surrogate phoned us and said, I'm not going to work with you a second time because my couple has never, ever contacted me after birth. And so I'm going to go with a different agency, and you promised they would. And we're like, this is the nicest couple. Like, why didn't you tell us? So we phoned the couple,
Mhm.
and the couple's like, what is she talking about? Every month we have a newsletter that we send out to our family because everyone was invested in surrogacy, was new in those days.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And she's on our list. She gets every month, she gets pictures of the baby, what's happening, what we are doing. Phone the surrogate back again saying, honey, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Don't you get these? You know what her answer was? Yes, but that's to everyone. I meant for me personally.
Ah,
Just misunderstanding sometimes.
yes,
It's not always what the person says, it's what the person hears.
exactly. And that's why before she goes to this level, I'm like, maybe we can work this out with a phone call. Not certain she's going to want a phone call, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But you're right. The surrogate was looking for a little bit more.
And the couple didn't know, and the agency didn't know because she never told
Mm.
us.
She never
We
told
just
us.
knew that she was getting, we phoned the couple. When's the last time you were in touch with a surrogate? Oh, no, we sent her this, we did this. So we were fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so it's just sometimes I say to couples, it's the same phrase. It's not what you said to them, it's what did the client hear.
Yes.
And those two things are not always the same things.
They are not always the same thing.
And
No.
that sometimes will resolve a lot of the problems just by let's go back and get the other side of this because what they said to you and what you heard might have been two different things.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you saved that though, I have to say.
It was amazing. It was like, I mean,
And
you know
and
how
and, and
embarrassed you are. You go back to the surrogate, like, why did you do this to me? I
I
mean, I'm
know.
phoning the couple to say to them, why have you not been in touch? And they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I felt silly.
I know. And for people who don't know, back in the day before texting and FaceTime, we wrote newsletters and we put
Right.
pictures
Yes,
and
yes, thank
we
you.
mailed them all out to our friends.
Exactly. Now we're aging ourselves, Stephanie. Stop it.
It was back in the day. Yes. Oh my gosh. No,
So it
that.
just, what I say to couples is, do your research,
Yes.
but be honest with yourself and with the agency about what you're looking for. And if they say, hey, I can't help you, move on to the next agency until you find the one that can help you.
Yeah.
But just be honest, don't fake it.
Yeah. I think that's
Not going
perfect
to work.
advice. You're absolutely right.